welcome traders to our post-week market review. So jumping straight into things here from where the market opened up, which is this candlestick here. Obviously we spoke about this in our midweek technical analysis, so not too much to go over, but you can see that price moved away from this point of control, continued on bullish and went to test the same area as the previous all-time high. In fact, creating a new all-time high at 4,382. Nothing too significant in comparison to the level of 3,480. We're talking 200 pips, give or take. From there, then you can see that throughout the Asian session and early hours of Tuesday morning up until 8 o'clock, so London session start, you see a enormous bearish push, which pushed price all the way down to around 4,000. So a good sort of 3,600 pip move here. So very significant. And then as you can see, once price sort of found that level of support, prices continue to move sideways. So the first thing that we're going to do here is obviously, now that price has dropped, obviously as of recently we have just sort of been marking in new points of interest as the market has pushed on to areas that has not been traded before, but now you can see this consolidation. You can see that price is moving sideways, so we're going to go ahead and use our fixed range volume profile and work out what sort of new levels we could potentially see. So sort of marking in from where this bearish move happened here, all the way up until the market closed. So you can see that we have this main area of control, so our POC, point of control. We'll go ahead and mark that in there. I like to grab at least 3 candlesticks or at least 3 bars from the area. I'll mark that in our nice green. I'll make it a little bit lighter, just so we know that that's the point of control. And then obviously we have our value area high and our value area low. I'll go ahead and mark these in white just so you can see things a little bit clearer. So we have these levels established here. I'll go ahead and delete this drawing. Bear with me. There we go. Right, so we have our points of interest. We have our value area high, our value area low. So obviously this is the main point of control. So you can see that price has sort of finished testing at this area, and you can see that the value area low has found or has controlled price in terms of support. Same as the value area high, we can see that price is rejecting off of this area as a resistance. Obviously we do have our psychological levels here. I'll go ahead and mark this in a blue just for now, so we can just make sure that we're focusing on that sort of volume points of interest. So we have our main point of control, so we'll treat this as our pivotal point for this consolidation. We'll treat the value area high as a top side resistance, and then obviously our value area low as a bottom side support. So interesting enough, you can see that this level, so the value area high, or we'll just call it VAH and VAL. So you can see that the VAH has tested, price has tested at this area as a resistance a few times. You can see once price is in this area of control, so the POC, you can see that price is sort of testing it as a resistance, support. You can see that price is fighting to get back in there, but you can also see when price is trading within this area, you can see some fluctuation. You can see price sort of moving sideways. So a lot of buyers and sellers injecting orders into the market. And then again with the VAL, you can see that price is testing at this level as a support, and you can see that price did drop through, but it found support at one of our points of interest that we already have marked in at around 4,005. So with that being said, what could we expect for gold going forward? So obviously we've seen that enormous bearish flip. This is the hourly one, the hourly time frame though, so we won't treat this as an overall bearish or an overall flip in terms of gold and gold's momentum, because obviously if I go to sort of a weekly time frame, you can see that in comparison to the overall bullish push, this is nothing to really worry about. Obviously if we saw price come down to around 3,800, then we will treat it as a bearish market, but as of right now we've just sort of seen that first week of bearish momentum or sellers controlling the market, which is why it looks so significant for gold, because as you can see for the past 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, the last 9 weeks, or out of the last 10 weeks, 9 have been completely bullish, and then the 10th one, most recent week has been bearish. That's why it looks so crazy. That's why it looks so significant. It's like, oh wow, what's happening with gold? But it's just normal market order. It's normal price action. But going to where we could expect gold to go from here. So obviously we have our consolidation. We have our top side resistance indicated and marked in from our value area high, and we have our bottom side support marked in from our value area low, and our middle pivotal point, which is our POC or point of control. So as long as price continues to respect these areas, we're going to expect continued consolidation until we see one of these two moves. If I go ahead and just move this over, until we see one of two moves. So if I go ahead and just drag this into white, there we go. So, right. So you can see that this is our point of control. If price is below this level, we're going to expect price to push down to that value area low. If price is above this level, we're going to expect price to push that value area high. If price tests this area as a resistance, we're going to anticipate price to come back to our point of control. If it breaks through the point of control, we're going to anticipate price to come down to that value area low. The same thing as if we see price push down to the value area low and test as a support, we're going to expect price to push back to that point of control. And if it breaks through that point of control, we can anticipate price to come to that top side resistance at that value area high until we see one of two things. So once we see price come to this level, if we see a break above this level, the next level that we're going to be focusing on is this level here, a psychological level of around 4,173. If we see that level broken through, the next level is going to be here at around 4,218. And it's the same thing for this bottom side support. Obviously, we've seen price push down to this level here. So let's say price breaks that value area low. We're then going to be looking for this price to be broken through. If that price is broken through, we're then going to expect price to continue on bearish, the same way as if this level's broken through, we're going to expect price to come sort of somewhere around these levels here that we already have marked in. Perhaps if price continues and then ends up going to test this previous all-time high, we could see bullish continuation, and we could just see that overall market momentum continue. So with that being said, there's not too much to anticipate. There's not too much to actually go over. We have our established levels. Of course, if you want to mark them in, here are the prices for all of our levels. You can see there. If these levels are a bit confusing, just slow down, pause the video, copy them into your own chart. What I'll go ahead and do is I'll drag these across as well. So just in case price does come back up, because eventually it will, we have our levels to sort of focus on. So yeah, that's sort of gold this week overall has been bearish, and the start of the week was bullish. The only thing that I will talk about real quick before we end this video is the dollar index has seen some major consolidation last week after a push sort of from mid-October. The funny thing is though, if I go to sort of market open, which is right here, you can see that market was bullish pretty much up until so this is 8 o'clock is where we saw this enormous bearish push, but you can see that within this area here, you can see that prices sort of pushed a little bit higher, but then started to consolidate. But if you look where price is consolidating, it's consolidating at the top side of this overall consolidation phase, indicating to us that the dollar index is getting closer and closer to that major correction, which of course will affect gold. So with that being said, it's pretty much it for our post-week market review. Not too much to go over, other than the fact that obviously we've seen this enormous bearish push over 3,000 pips move, which is significant for gold, especially as we've all been used to this continued bullish momentum, new all-time highs and new areas to mark in. But price is starting to consolidate now, which is, for me personally, is a nice area to trade. For example, if we see price come to this this value area high, test it as a resistance. Obviously, there's a few areas that you could test, that you could put your support above the most or the highest point of this top side resistance, or you could set your support there, and then just sort of drive price and anticipate for price to go all the way down to that value area low. And then the same thing for bullish positions, or long positions. We're gonna, if price comes down to that value area low and tests as support, there's different areas where we could set our stop just below this point of interest, or we could set our stop and be safe below this point of interest, and then just target that value area high. So it's just sort of nice 1 to 2 moves. Obviously, if you go down on the lower time frames, you can get a nicer entry and have a nicer and a more accurate stop and take profits. But just looking at the hour time frame, if we see that continued consolidation, it doesn't mean just because the market isn't flying in one way, it doesn't mean that we can't place trades. It's actually, consolidation is actually a really, really nice area to trade within. And obviously, we have seen market. This is the first week that we're going into where we've seen price test at areas where gold has actually been before. Obviously, not much. As you can see, this entire area here. So, for example, if I just mark in this area here, this entire area that gold is trading in, the only time previously that gold's ever traded this level is this. So we don't actually have too much information, as the most of the before price sort of escaped this overall area here. You can just see bullish, 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 bullish. So not too much to go over, but yeah, still interesting, I guess. But yeah, regarding our post-week market review, that's pretty much going to be it. As always, I hope you've all enjoyed. Concluding everything once again, overall market has been bearish, consolidation since sort of Tuesday. So start of the week, very start of the week, bullish momentum, carried it to that new all-time high. Price then dropped down throughout the Tuesday London and New York session, and then from there we've seen some consolidation with a common resistance, common support, and a main pivotal point. So yeah, that's pretty much it for our post-week market review. As always, I hope you've all enjoyed. I will really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, drop us a comment in the description below. Let us know if you're enjoying these videos, if there's anything that you want to see changed, added, etc, etc. And of course, if you don't have a challenge with us, be sure to check out the link in the description below at www.goldfunding.io and purchase a challenge with us today. And if you're not already, join our Discord, because we have some really good deals, promos. We send them into our Discord first, so sort of first come first serve policy. If you're in the Discord, you'll be the first to know. So definitely recommend you getting in there. So yeah, once again, hope you've all enjoyed this post-week market review, and I will catch you in our midweek technical analysis video. Peace.